the reason why we're streaming for the first time in like 4 months. By the way, we're very busy on UnPACME. That's why we're not streaming a lot. Crazy features coming soon. Shout out UnPACME. Shout out me. Shout out Sean. But basically, the reason why we're streaming is because it's pretty cool. It blew my mind at how good it was for so little effort. So the topic today is basically hooking up IDA to an LLM, multiple LLMs, I guess, and asking it to automate reverse engineering for you. As crazy as that sounds, that's actually what we're going to do today. I'm going to demonstrate how it's all set up. Duncan's going to talk a little bit about how the MCP connector basically connects IDA to the LLM. It'll be boring 5 minutes, or most important 5 minutes. If you can hear the snoring, it's my dog beside me. So yeah, the important stuff is in the 5 minutes right now, so pay attention, and then we're just going to zone out and vibe as it reverses for us. Also, if you guys have some samples that you want me to check out, send the hashes in the chat, and I will gladly check them out on screen for you. So send me interesting stuff. So far with testing, it doesn't do great with Rust or Go or anything that has sort of like super structures or meta structures on top of the code, but you'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, so yeah, just maybe 5-minute explainer. What is an MCP? Why is that important? How does that kind of differ from the normal prompt chat box that everyone used to?
Yes. So basically the MCP, it stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's just like a protocol that defines a way, like a unified way for LLMs to call tools. So under the hood, it is actually super lame, I'm sorry to say, but it just sends a bunch of JSON. Like the LLM says, hey, I want to use this tool, and it sends some JSON, and then the kind of the thing that hosts the actual model, so like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, some client, will see this JSON appear, and then it's like, oh, okay, that looks like an MCP call, and then it will call the appropriate MCP server to basically ask it for some response. I don't know, create an image, or I don't know, translate this text or whatever. And then basically the MCP server, it's not exactly a server, but it just returns the data back, and then the LLM gets that data into its context. So that's all it is essentially. It's like pretty over-engineered in my opinion, but basically right now you have Claude and Klein and a bunch of other popular tools that implement this MCP protocol. So yeah, that's I guess why people are implementing MCP servers, because it basically allows your MCP tool to be used by like a bunch of different clients without having to change anything about them. And then specifically the one for IDA Pro. So the MCP server works by communicating over std-in and std-out, just via like a pipe essentially. And you know, we cannot communicate like this with IDA Pro. So the MCP server, there's like an additional layer where we have a IDA plugin that actually hosts like an HTTP server. And then inside of the server.py, like the MCP server itself, we just send like a post request that, hey, IDA plugin, please do something for me. And then the IDA plugin returns the result. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's super simple.
Yeah, so what I pulled up on the screen here is just the functionality that Duncan's implemented so far for the plugin. And I guess that's like one really important thing to keep in mind, is like you're basically taking the LLM and you're shoving it down into like a bunch of different commands that it can call to get extra context. So I saw a lot of questions on Discord about this, like can it rename, like can it build structures and stuff like that? It's like, maybe it could if the command existed in the IDA plugin. Duncan implemented like 6 commands and was like, done. So no, it can't right now, but maybe if you implemented...
plenty, but...
No, but yeah, in all seriousness, it's just like a few commands that are required for the basics of like reading functions, identifying functions, that kind of stuff. So...
That's just... And also, like there is like a balance here, because like if you would give it the whole IDA API, you know, you could imagine you can somehow glue together this IDA API via this HTTP calls and just give it access to the complete IDA API. You know, this is like a nightmare waiting to happen, because like the tools become very difficult to use for the LLM, so it's very likely that it will fail to actually you know, if, for example, if it will try to write a script, it's very likely to fail writing the script because, you know, we all know that IDA's API changes every month, right? And you have to completely redo all your plugins. So, you know, that would not be a good tool. So like the trick is to give it the tools that are like small in scope but still useful. So for example, decompile this function. That is a useful tool because then the LLM just gets a decompilation that the analyst would also see. But you don't want to have like some very broadly scoped tools, let's say. And also there was someone who already exploited such a tool like execute script, where there was some prompt injection trick and then it executed popped calc on the user's machine, which is obviously bad. So you also want to be careful with this. It's like all untrusted data everywhere, right? So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that was like particularly concerning, I'll show you like as we actually get into like the demo portion of this, but like obviously there's a debugger in IDA and Ghidra. So I was really concerned that it was just going to be like, I know what to do. I'll launch the malware and see what it does. So like we had to take a lot of steps to like make sure that it, you know, we basically changed the extension to something like there's no possible way it could run it. And like even then I'm concerned that it, like if you weren't babysitting it, it might just be like, do you want me to try and execute this somehow? Like, you know, it's like, do you want me to change the extension and run this? So yeah, anyway, it can do that kind of stuff. I'll show you guys the safety features in a minute. There's basically, we were running it in VS Code, and there's this, for the plugin that we're using, it prompts you every time it wants to like make a command, and then you can kind of like filter what commands are safe and what aren't. But yeah, we'll get into that in the demo part. There's definitely dragons here if you just decide to really vibe out. It's fucking go ahead, analyze the malware. Here, I'm just gonna read through chat. Can you also see the chat, Duncan? I don't know. I think there's a few questions.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I have it.
Okay.
You should not use MCP for malware analysis. So yeah, this is wrong, I would say. You can use it, you just have to be careful, right? Like with everything, you don't do something stupid. You don't want to implement more than 20 tools, otherwise the LLM gets confused. Yeah, that could be. I mean, you know, now it will get confused, but I think we have to also look at the trend, right? Like we are seeing the context windows basically increase like a lot. So I think next year, for example, yeah, it wouldn't be an issue to give it like a huge amount of data, and it will just kind of work, at least some definition. Have you considered using a VM? Yes, we are using VM.
We're using VM. Everything's in VMs, guys. Also, I saw Tainted is saying it's going to take a long time before we figure out how to prompt these tools for reverse engineering. As we'll show you today, the prompt matters a lot. As with everything AI, the prompt is like a big... thanks for spamming the chat there, Humpty Dumpty. All the gifted subs. Those go straight to Bezos on his fucking yacht. Fuck you, Bezos. Stealing my money. We make so little off Twitch. Actually, I didn't even renew the tax document, so that money's just going straight to Bezos. Appreciate it anyway, though. Thank you very much. Yeah. So anyway, the prompts do matter, and we have two that we were working on for the last 2 days that seem to be the best for different scenarios. So. Yeah. Is there anything else?
And
I
think also,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention like a very concrete example of this prompting, because at the beginning I was trying to solve some crackmes, and IDA disassembled it as like decimal numbers, and then the LLM was basically in its head converting those decimal numbers to hex, and it just hallucinated a bunch of stuff, right? So then we added this convert number tool. So shout out to this guy at GMH who came up with this plan. And then you have to prompt it like, hey, never convert numbers, you know, use this convert number tool, and then it will get like, when it gives a number in there, it will get all different representations. And then after adding this, it was actually able to solve this crackme, which was kind of...
Do you want to send
I think it was cool.
I didn't even... we should demo that too.
Yeah, sure.
That's actually a good idea.
Hold on.
And somebody was asking, how do we donate if we don't donate on Twitch? And that is a cue for Johnny Sins, obviously.
What's up? Johnny Sins here. I just want to clear something up. I am definitely not Sergey without glasses. Although, Am I?
Hey folks, just because I'm not Johnny Sins doesn't mean I'm not getting busy on camera all the time. I'm so busy, in fact, that I've created a huge catalog of video content on Patreon, which if you like these streams, you should go check out. We have over 140 hours of streams, live streams covering everything from deobfuscation, building config extractors, unpacking malware, everything you could think of related to reverse engineering malware. We also have in-depth tutorials covering things like unpacking VM Protect, how to set up a malware analysis lab, how to build a config extractor, calling conventions, what that means.
What the hell is even that?
All kinds of in-depth reverse engineering content on OALabs Patreon. Go check it out. We'll see you there. What the hell is even that? All right, guys. Okay, so the way we have this set up, it's kind of janky. So we have VS Code set up with this plugin. I'm going to open a new folder here. Vibe 1. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, I trust the authors. Yeah, so we have this plugin called RuCode, and that's the MCP host, right? Is that the right term? So
No, client. It's the MCP client. Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing that actually hosts the server.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the server, right? So.
Yes, so maybe you can show the MCP servers like.
I will.
List.
The config. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So. So the way I have it set up here is I have two MCP servers. Right now this is Lori's, but I'm going to turn hers off right now. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
ignore that.
Yeah, it's fine. So this is Duncan's. I think actually if I go to edit MCP servers, it's probably easier. No. No.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
It'll be easier for you guys to see what's going on here. So the integration is super simple. We just have like the directory where the server code is, and you're basically just running it via UV, which is like that Python environment changer thing. That's what it is, right? Like, I don't know. It basically it's like dependency resolver.
Python environment manager.
Yeah, environment. Yeah. So you just set it up with like the command that you need to run the actual server, and then the timeout stuff. I mean, that's just how long it waits for a command from IDA. But this is the key part here. So I've been running this a bit locally, so we've added a bunch of commands that are allowed. But when you first start out, maybe I'll just delete these so that you guys can see the original experience. You'll see this.
No, but actually, because
no,
I updated the installation process, so it will do all of this automatically, so you will not see anything. It will put everything in automatically allow.
Oh, okay. All
yes,
right.
yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so each one of these is one of the commands that's allowed by the MCP server. So normally it would prompt you to say, like, do you want me to get metadata or whatever? So I have two of them installed, and we'll try, like I was tweeting out, we'll do like a bake-off. So this is Duncan's, and it works with IDA, and this is Lori's, and it works with GITHUB. And I think, I'm not sure, what's that?
GITHUB,
That's
yes.
what it's called, brother. Go to WikiLeaks, look up NSA disassembly tool, and you'll see there's a pronunciation for how to pronounce it. It's pronounced GEE Hydra. Internally,
Yes.
that's what they call it at the NSA. It's very hard to say that with a straight face. Last time I said that, someone actually emailed me from like the NSA, from the project, and was like super mad. And they're like, it's based on like this ancient Chinese lore. It's like, all right, buddy, come on. It's clearly a joke. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so this is Lori's. I don't know what Lori's list of allowed functionality for, or not allowed, but implemented functionality for GITHUB is. I didn't see a list of it. I guess we could open the plugin and take a look, but I'm not sure how many functions she implemented for GITHUB. But these are the ones that when I was testing it, that I found. So anyway, that's how it's set up. For right now, we're just gonna, for the bake-off, we're gonna enable Duncan's for IDA. And the way that it works here is we basically just open a project. So inside the vibe folder is the binary that we want to analyze. And then we open IDA, and open the binary in IDA, and then start the IDA server, and then we can start prompting with prompt our life away with this. So if you guys have any questions about the setup, just put them in the chat now. Duncan did a pretty good job on the GitHub of explaining how this works, and I think you said you have like a full install now that just does it for you, I think.
Yes. You basically pip install IDA MCP server, and then you run the install command, and it just works. There's also video on the GitHub, so it's super easy. At the beginning, it was a bit finicky, but I kind of streamlined that because, yeah.
Do you want to put the link to the GitHub repo in the chat?
Sure.
And I'll just, when we get to Laurie's, I'll explain how I set Laurie's up. So Laurie's project wasn't made to be run this way, so I had to make a few changes to it, but they're really easy. Basically, you just have to set up the MCP, like initialize MCP or whatever inside the project. But yeah, I'll go through that when we try hers. So gotta get IDA open here. Which IDA do we use? Latest IDA, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Where's IDA?
Nice desktop shortcuts.
Just leave me alone. They're all different versions of IDA. It's not my fault.
I also remember your VS Code was like 5 years old.
I like that version because it's not all online and shit. I hate the new version. Bro, look at this hairline. I'm not switching. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's open up Vibe 1. And those of you who are on the Patreon, you're actually going to recognize this file probably because we've been doing a series on it. And you're going to see that all that work that you did, the 7 hours of work to reverse it, you're gonna start crying soon, I'm sure. Okay, so we have it open here. The plugin is just dropped in the plugins directory to start it. We use Control-Alt-M. So you can see here the MCP server has started. And so it can now receive commands from VS Code. What was the hash that you put in? Oh, this is the sample we're analyzing.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
If the LLM didn't hallucinate it.
Hi, Rad. Rad's schizo posting in the chat here. Okay,
nice.
so
That's lovely.
Okay, so we're ready to go. This is where we're going to prompt, and I don't know. I think for this one we should use the original prompt. So let me just pull that up in Sublime here. Vibecode.txt. So I saved out a bunch of different prompts that were interesting to use, and I think what I'd like to do is actually show it to you guys on screen. Yeah, so this was the original one. Here, I'm just going to replace this actually with this one, which is a bit better. So let's go through. Let's go through this just line by line, because this actually matters. Like I mentioned before, this matters quite a bit. And we were playing around with a bunch of different things. One thing I noticed is we were trying, your task is to analyze, see how we have oh no, this is a different one. I'm sorry. This is not the right one. Do you have the original one, Duncan?
Yep. Yeah. I have the one we used.
Yeah, the one that like tells it to write a report at the end.
Yeah. I'm sending it in the Do It Live Discord.
Yeah.
There.
Yes. Okay. And then I'm.
Like this was the first iteration we did.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a few updates to this. Yeah, so the first thing is when you tell it that it's malware, it assumes that all functionality is malicious. So it's very funny to tell it to like analyze a regular binary as malware, because it'll be like this CRT initialization function is used to like make the malware initialize. You're like, no, it's not. So I think we are going to leave it in there just so you guys can see how that works. But generally, I like to use binary. That's one of the things that I kind of learned as I was playing with this, is to use just analyze this binary is a bit better.
Yeah.
Another thing that I recently added, which is very helpful, is this prompt here. So where do we say rename functions? So change function names to be more descriptive. I changed this to be change function names to be more descriptive. Preface all of your function names with vibe, the vibe namespace. The reason why that is important, as you guys will, well, maybe you won't see on this binary because it works well. On binaries where it doesn't work well, sometimes it starts to hallucinate, and it's really good to get a sense of what it renamed and what it didn't, because like I was running this without the vibe namespace, and sometimes I would like be like, oh, that's main, and you click on it and be like, that's not main, that's just a fucking random function. So yeah, it's good to have the vibe namespace. And I also added this prompt here, which I don't know whether it's required for this sample, but I asked it to only rename functions that start with sub underscore, which is like IDA's like unknown function naming protocol, because I also noticed that it happily renames properly named functions. So again, like main, it'll be like, that's not main, that's malware start, and you're like, nah, damn it. So yeah, so this
although you have to
thing.
be careful with this, because like there was this kind of attack where they were just renaming the functions to be something fake to try to like inject something into the LLM. So that's the other side of this, right? You have to kind of pick for your use case what you want.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I haven't tested this on any like adversarial, malware, like, or samples or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, those were the two changes that I made. So let's give this a shot. Copy it out here, and now we do some reverse engineering, guys.
Oh, this is lovely.
All right. So I think it's nice to watch this, very cool, yes. But also it's cool to watch IDA. And if we filter on vibe, we should be able to start seeing it rename some functions as it goes. So let me pull this up, make it a bit smaller. So you guys can see now as you're pulling in your 300K a year to analyze malware from Ambient, instead you can be playing some Valorant and just letting this run in the background. And yeah, let's... Oh, it hasn't renamed anything yet. Oh, it's got an error. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I think it's you didn't get the latest version, because I think Mishap fixed this in the... Yeah, you have like a bit older version of the MCP server, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, you might want to update actually, because this will not work. Oh no, it's okay. It found something. Okay.
Well, I mean, we ran.
Yeah,
let's let it run. I mean, there's not that many people here. It's fine. It's just a small group of folks. Oh yeah, how complex is the sample? Yeah, so this is a sample that I selected for our Patreon Learning How to Reverse Engineer series. And I specifically selected it because it is the easiest sample I've ever found to reverse engineer that has actual malware functionality. It's written in C, there's no API obfuscation, and there's no string obfuscation. So basically in the pseudocode view, if you can write C code, you can read the sample, right? So that's the level that we're starting with. Don't worry, if you guys stick around for a bit, we'll get into some more interesting stuff. Yeah, so here you go. You can see they've already labeled something malware main. Let's figure out if that's malware main in a bit. Can it unpack VMP? In my limited... Yeah, of course it can, yes. Subscribe to UNPACME. No, so in my limited testing with this, basically any sort of protection at all is enough to completely fuck it. So like even... again, I'll show you guys in a little bit with C++. So even the like STL type stuff is enough to make it really have a hard time, which is not obfuscation, obviously. That's just compiled data structures. So that's, it's it has troubles with that kind of stuff. But that being said, there's a lot of tools that we could add via MCP. You know, you could add other stuff in there if you wanted to. And you could also maybe add some prompts like replicate this in Python. You know, that's kind of, you know, what is the normal reverse engineering process? Well, maybe if you don't understand it, replicate in Python, run it, you know, that kind of stuff. So this is just the baby steps.
Yeah, you know, you can also hook it up to an emulator, for example, right? Like you could have some dumpulator, let's say.
Yeah,
or a debugger.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what I heard, Nox is working on the x64 debug MCP, so we'll see that. I don't know when, but eventually. But I don't know, that's gonna be like running the malware.
Just run it.
Idea, to be honest.
Run the ransomware.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see.
But you know, maybe you can give it access to a VM, let it restore.
Yes,
the snapshot.
that's what I meant. Yeah, that was what I implied. But yeah, I mean, you even have the remote debugger for IDA, which is, you know, that might work.
Yeah.
So is this field cooked? I mean, it's cooked if this is all you're doing for your 300K a year, yeah. But I mean, in my experience, like, you know, this kind of stuff was like prevalent. Like stuff at this level was prevalent, maybe, you know, when I had hair. But nowadays, pretty much everything is like multiple layers of obfuscation, at least API protection and string protection. So I guess good time to plug us over at UNPACME. You got to unpack the samples before this is even going to attempt to work, and you got to do some sort of like API resolving and shout out HashDB and string resolving before any of this is going to work at all. You know, yeah.
But, you know, for example, if you have already annotated a sample, right, like you already did the deobfuscation, you already wrote all the nice comments in the decompilation, then you could ask it, hey, write me the report, right? It'll do it. I mean, and if you tell it to not, you know, not rename, not change anything, it will just use whatever information you put there, and it will write the report about like the techniques used and everything. So, you know, in that way, you could be cooked.
That's one thing that, like, at the end of this, so the last prompt, I don't know if you guys saw, is to ask it to write a report. That was the thing. This is what blew me away when we first ran this. Wait until you see how good this is. Anyway, I'm talking it up, and now it's not going to work.
Yeah, we never know because it's not really deterministic.
It's going to go on. It's going to start writing a novel for us. But yeah.
We can always just pull up the report that was originally generated.
Yeah, it was generated, bro. It's just like we just wrote it out for Twitter. Yeah, I saw a mention about the cost here. I do want to put this in perspective. So I ran this on a C++ RAT that's 330K. It has a lot of STL stuff in it. It took about 5 hours to run through and annotate, I'd say maybe 80% of the malware, and it cost me about $60 US to do that with a completely different prompt. I had to use a different prompt, which I can show you guys. So it was able to work through it very slowly, but for that kind of thing, it's like a lot of looping. So it's going over the same function again and again as it adds more context and renaming it. So it takes friggin' forever, and it's expensive. But, you know, the price is just going to come down, hopefully.
So.
Pray.
Yeah, but also, you know, this is where like stuff like Flirt and Lumina can also come in, right? Because you obviously don't want to be analyzed. You don't want to analyze the C++ standard library, like obviously. So if you do that first, then and you tell it, hey, don't analyze the functions that already have names or whatever, then you can kind of take a shortcut, let's say. So yeah.
Yeah, I think feeding this with like. Yeah, all of the stuff that's known before we analyze, like this, we just analyzed it completely blind, right? But like, I think feeding it some data would definitely, well, I know it would help quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
and that's also one of the reasons I'm actually excited about it, because it's like, yeah, sure, you know, everyone is like, oh, if you obfuscate it, then it will not work. It's like, yeah, no shit, but that's why you can create decompiler plugins, right, to do the deobfuscation for you. And like, that
You
way
could
you
start a
kind of,
business unpacking things, you know?
for example.
You could
But you know,
run
you
a
can
whole
kind of
service.
you get forced into writing automated tooling, which I love to do
It's
myself.
much better. Yeah.
So yeah,
No, I mean, this is, it's definitely promising, because you have to think about, like, well, I don't know how many people in here are doing reverse engineering full time as like, oh, we hit $1 cost, who are doing like reverse engineering full time. But if you are, you know that like the first thing you're probably doing in your binary is making it look basic like these binaries. Like you're resolving all the strings, you're like resolving the APIs, you're cleaning things up. So like, even if you just did that and then you had this thing do the last mile, it's already winning, right? You're already saving a bit of time. So I'm bullish on this, even though it looks kind of janky, and it's running out of VS Code right now, which we definitely have to fix this. It's so fucking stupid.
I mean, you know, I for me it was useful, for example, for the crack me, because this thing can also, this is meant for like vibe coding, right? It's for programming. So in the case of the crack me, it was generating Python and running the Python,
and running it,
getting output from there, right? So that's kind of why I picked it. But you can also use Claude Desktop, which is just a chatbot.
Yeah, that was like Lori's.
Yeah.
If you have IDA Pro 10K, you can get a computer in the range of 10K with local DeepSeek. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we didn't try that, but I think you could do it for smaller tasks, like if you basically say analyze only this function, right, and you don't get too big of a context, because local DeepSeek, yeah, I don't know for 10K if you can run that, to be honest, like the full model, but like a quantized one, yeah, you can run it on your Mac, right, and you can try. It's the same, like with this plugin Rucode or Klein, you can just hook it up to OALabs and you can try. Let me know how it goes. The results have been kind of mid for me for a lot of stuff. Like bigger models, it makes a huge difference. So yeah.
Oh, it's writing the report now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, writing the report here. Yeah. The nice thing about VS Code, I was just kind of shitting on it because I think it's funny you have to run an IDE to do it, but like it is really good for development because they have that built-in like model selector. So like right now I'm running through OpenWriter, so like I can just select whatever I want there, but like here I can also select different LLMs if I want locally in VS Code, and the Rucode will use them. So
yeah.
All right, task complete. All right, so it cost me $1.38 to do this.
I think that's cheaper than the first time.
Yeah, it's learning. So you can see here it's renamed all these functions. I think probably it's good to just F5 this so you guys can get a sense of what the code looks like. Yeah, there you go. So is this actually enabling SE debug privilege? Yeah, it is. Is this terminating security software? Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then, you know, is this terminating Microsoft security? Yeah, it is. So it's, again, it works. The reason why we're doing the stream is because it works so damn well for this sample. It's surprising. Also here, like exfiltrate data to C2, that's actually what it's doing. Like it actually figured it out, which is pretty crazy. This get machine identifier is actually correct, and this is a little bit tricky to see how they do it. I think that it wouldn't have known that this is a machine identifier if you didn't tell it that this was malware. So I think if you said just analyze a binary, it might have named these a little bit different, which we can try in a minute if you guys want. But it did actually figure out, like, okay, this is like a hex encoding function, right? Binary to hex string. These are all things that, like, a professional reverse engineer, it would take you, you know, less than a minute to figure that out just by, you just look at this and be like, oh, the shift and, okay, yeah, whatever. But, like, if you weren't that, then maybe, you know, maybe this would take a little bit longer. So why don't we take a look at the report and we'll see how that stacks up. I'm going to copy it out. think it's saved it
You can
in the
just
Vi.
preview it in VS Code.
Is there a preview button? The little
Yeah,
thing?
the little, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you drag the preview on the other tab to kind of, or close the other tab.
Can I just drag it out? Oh, that doesn't work.
No,
here.
no, yeah. Close the report markdown file, then
Yeah,
it
there
should
we
work.
go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna move this over because I think my bald head is blocking it.
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys all see that? Looks like it's okay in view. Executive summary. This report detail. Well, we don't care about that. Sample information. I mean, that looks nice and professional. I don't know why I include the base address. It's always good to know what the base address is.
Because that's in the get metadata response.
Oh,
There's the base
okay.
address.
Okay.
Probably that's why I was like, metadata, it's good.
Privilege escalation. The malware attempts to acquire SE-debug privilege, which allows it to debug other processes. This privilege is called... I sound like fucking Aiden Ross here. What is fascism?
What does a fascist mean? It means you are a far right authorization on ultranalytic. Oh my god!
Have you guys seen that? If you guys haven't seen that video, you have to go watch that. Maybe we can watch that at the end of the stream. This privilege is commonly abused by malware to read memory from other processes, inject, and yeah, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so good. Security software termination. The malware targets and terminates security software using a sophisticated technique. It really likes to It really likes to embellish how sophisticated the malware is. I've noticed this. Like, it must be because, well, I don't know. I'm just
It's
speculating.
just like industry, right?
Yes, I was just going to say, I've just speculated here, but it's because if you've ever read a blog post by like a security company about malware, they're always going on about how it's like so sophisticated, so advanced. Yeah, exactly.
Raksha
like,
did it also, guys.
APT process killer. I mean, anyway, so I think because it was trained on the internet, it likes to do this kind of thing. But yeah. It identifies specific security-related processes by name. This is actually correct. So I reversed this. So this is actually what it's doing. It didn't get that this is for Trend Micro, but this is where that.
No, but it did get it in my report, I think.
I was just gonna say this is where like the nuance is, because it did in the first time we ran it. It figured out it was Trend Micro. So in this case, it hadn't figured it out. But yeah, it is.
No, you could ask it, right? You could ask, what is the third-party security software, and update the report, and then, it might figure out what it is.
I will actually do that in a second once we finish going through. 'Cause I'm curious to see if if you just Google any one of these, it should say what it is. And then for identification. For each identified process, it enumerates all the threads in the process, opens each thread, injects exit process call using Q user APC, which is actually a little bit hard to figure out if you read the code what it's doing there. So it's pretty good that it figured that out, and then forces security processes to terminate themselves. So this is one of those things where it's like it actually did have to reverse engineer that little bit of functionality to know what was going on. The API calls are in plain text, so it's not that hard, but if you don't know how it works, I think that's a good catch. Security software deletion. So after terminating security processes, the malware attempts to delete the security software executables using multiple techniques. That's good. Yes, there are multiple techniques. Marks the file for deletion. So this is just, if you read the APIs, you can see that directly. This one is a little bit different though. So in this malware, they attempt to use like the $C share to access the file to try and evade like anti-tamper on Windows Defender. It's kind of a clever thing that they do. So it is kind of interesting that they actually figured this out. Like the first time you look at it, you might be like, why are they doing that? But yeah, so it's kind of figured that out. And then this one again is just an API call read. It just saw the ZW delete file. It's pretty clear what's going on. Okay, so before we read through the data exfiltration, the key point here is that in the data exfiltration, they use RC4 to encrypt the path that they're sending, and they generate an ID from the computer information as the key for the RC4. So that was kind of one of the big tests for this, and I'm curious to see whether they figured it out. They did in the first time we did it. I'm not sure if they've done it this time. So it creates a unique machine identifier by collecting the username, SID, and Windows installation date. That's correct. Calculates an MD5 of this information and converts it to hexadecimal string. That's correct. It compares data for exfiltration by encoding information about the OS version and terminated security software, converting to base64 and URL encoding the result. That's correct. And it communicates with C2 servers by generating an obfuscated URL path. So this is the thing that's RC4 encrypted. I don't know whether it's figured that out yet or not. Yeah, it looks like it didn't. Yeah, it looks like it didn't figure it out. Ah, okay. So this is performing a little bit worse than the one that
the live demo is always worse.
Yeah, the live demo is always worse. Yeah. So in the one that we did, I mean, you know, Scout's Honor, it did figure out the RC4, which was very surprising, or you know, very interesting at least. But in this case, it looks like it didn't.
But, you know, we can ask again, right? We can try like how does it generate the paths?
Let's prompt. So we should ask it first. What is the third-party security software? What do you guys think? Is that?
Yeah. Put a question mark. Oh, whatever.
The pros is so client SLA coded. Yeah.
Yes. But you know, you can definitely control this, right? In your report part of the prompt, you can say generate it in this style or whatever. So did it figure it out?
No.
I just says the processes.
Yeah. No, just that's too bad.
Yeah.
Let's ask it how is the path obfuscated generated. What is the obfuscation technique? Describe this in detail. Alright, let's see. It better have a fuck ton of emojis. Yeah, we should add a prompt to say like include emojis in your report.
Said it didn't analyze it in detail.
Oh.
So maybe we need to say to analyze it a bit more, like apparently it forgot a few functions.
Okay. We could say, how would we phrase that? Maybe like analyze the C2 protocol.
Yeah, use the... No, just say use the IDA MCP server to analyze this function. And then the actual name, or the address, whatever.
Is that fine? Or is that too generic?
Yeah, just try it. I mean, do it live, as they say.
Yeah. I'm actually working on a programming language for Gen Z. Everything's written in emojis. Yeah. I don't think Gen Z actually uses emojis anymore. Or that's Gen Alpha. I noticed they stopped using emojis.
I would reject this. It started to do some weird stuff.
Reject. Yeah, this this function is sophisticated for a real no cap. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the actual function that does the RC4 though. Yeah, I think this might be a different function. Or not.
I mean, we can let it run a little bit, you know. I can spare it all.
Yeah, sure.
I guess it's kind of boring for chat here, but
it's the simple XOR encryption. That's too bad.
Yeah, but remember, it's
so
like
nicely.
It's gonna.
Right.
Remember,
there was a
it
deeper
is.
layer,
It's a deeper layer. Yeah.
Oh, RC4 stream cipher. Oh yes.
Hell yeah.
I saw it. Okay.
It's coming. What's the sparkling water that guy was drinking in the wake up video? Is that the same thing that you're drinking, Duncan?
I'm drinking San Pellegrino.
You know what I'm talking about though? Crazy.
Nah, I'm not putting a banana peel on my face. That's not for me.
Saratoga. Yeah, somebody in the chat got. Oh wait, Snow, is that you, Snow? The actual Snow? If that's actually you, Snow, I'll make you a mod. So I should ask it to update the report.
Yeah, it's good to update. That was another thing. I think in the Binary Ninja MCP server from Amy, I think it was. There in the prompt it said, do not comment anything, only put comments in the functions and only use the MCP server so that it doesn't kind of spam its own context with its own like knowledge, but it's all in the actual Binary Ninja thing. Yeah, it also gets confused here because it forgets that it has to use the root code read file, but it's like, oh, maybe this IDA MCP server can also do this reading, but then it fails.
That's alright.
But usually it figures it out.
That only cost me 10
stage
cents.
costs like 10 cents. Yeah, that's the...
No big deal. How do I make you a
RC4 state. Okay, now it's
blocks? No. Jesus.
ban.
How do we make him a mod? I don't even know how to use this technology, guys. For fuck's sake.
I also don't. I'm also a mod and I don't know how to. I think I am a mod actually. I don't even know.
Alright, well, if somebody knows how to make Snow a mod. What model? I'm using Klein, the latest.
No, the mod, the Claude.
Claude, not Klein. the latest Cloud.
Yes.
Alright. So did it fix it? C2 server infrastructure uses at least one hard-coded C2 server IP. That's correct. Randomly selects from multiple C2 servers using RANs. You think it could figure it out that there's 4 hard-coded ones based on this, right? Maybe you guys can't see. I'll move it over. It's like, do a little thinking here. But yeah, this is actually correct, even though it didn't figure out there's 4 of them. URL path obfuscation implements the RC4 stream cipher for URL path encryption. That's actually correct. The key scheduling algorithm at blah blah blah. We don't care about that, but that is right. It uses the machine identifier data as the encryption key. That was the key part, so that's a little bit harder to figure out. You do actually have to do some reverse engineering to figure that out. So it's kind of interesting that they were able to do that. And yeah, this is correct. This is what I was hoping it would do. So again, if you didn't know that and you just read the report, maybe you wouldn't know to prompt it to get more, we're doing, what is it, like not a blind test. Like we actually know what it should be returning, so it's not as scientific as it could be. But yeah, so it did actually get it in the end, I guess, which is, yeah, interesting. So what I'd like to do is, let's do head-to-head. Duncan v. Laurie will open up GITHUB, and we'll try and replicate the same thing with GITHUB. Yeah, human versus AI, that would be a good one.
How skilled is the human? That's the question. We need a human who costs the same, right? That's what we need to do.
Who wants to do this for $2.20? I mean, that's another part of this that's pretty crazy. Is like, yeah.
So obviously it's easy to look at this and be like, this is super stupid. You're wasting money. I could do this myself, but how much you get paid per hour, right?
What are you getting paid exactly? 5G1. Okay. So I don't want cross taints between the two, so I'm just going to copy this and do a new folder, and I'm going to open a new folder in VS Code just so that there's no cross concatenation.
Yeah, that was my initial mistake when I first tried. I had the CrackMe and I had the source code of the CrackMe in the folder, and then I was asking it, hey, solve it, and no, it's not correct. And I was like, oh, okay, let me check the source code to find the solution. So yeah.
So funny.
You have to give it a nice
clean
folder. Also, don't put this on your desktop. Like, don't open your desktop because we'll just start reading a bunch of files. Like, just it's you have to kind of put it in a little box, otherwise things are going wrong.
Okay, so we have a new folder, same binary. We're gonna switch our MCP server. Go to a little hamburger. So we're gonna turn off Duncan, and before we turn on Lori, I have to open GIDRA. This weird phrase, wasn't it?
Ghidra.
Yeah. Actually, I think I have it here. Yeah, there we go. GIDRA. All right.
Poor guys at the NSA.
Whatever. They're fucking spying on my dick pics. They can take a little heat.
Okay.
All right. I want a new project.
Well.
Dude, why is the font so fucked? See, this is the thing. NSA can't get their shit straight. Non-shared project. What does it even matter? What does it matter, guys?
No. You don't want this because then you need a server.
Non-shared project. You can tell how much
shared
I
project
use
is pretty
this
cool, but
piece of shit.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Man.
Look at this. This is not pretty cool. It's like some shit that they had in the fucking 90s.
Shared project is cool because you have the server and you can you work directly on the server.
Project
There's
name.
collaborating.
Vibe off. Okay. And I think I just have to open a folder now. I really don't use GIDRA.
You
so
drag you press I to import a file, or do file import, and then you.
Yes. 5G. Import this. Okay. And then yes, please. I know you guys can't. Trust me, if you're screaming in the chat about not being able to see the font, I can't see it either, and it's right in front of me on a giant 50-inch monitor.
That sounds
so,
okay.
we're just gonna have to deal with it. So I noticed for the server to work, it actually has to be open. We have to disassemble or open the, open this thing.
Yeah, and probably also have to analyze it, right? You have to run the auto analysis. Which, to be fair, we did the same in IDA. We let IDA analyze everything before doing anything.
It didn't work?
Oh, no. Yeah, you can close this window and just double click on the binary there.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. People in the chat screaming about my GIDRA use. Yes, analyze it now. Yes. I don't know what any of this means. We'll select the default.
Yeah, just yes.
Okay. 90s aesthetic is peak. Yeah, I kind of like the aesthetic too. Flare on 2020.
I also like the 90s aesthetic, but this was ugly in the 90s too.
Yeah, this wasn't good. I mean, in the 90s they had rounded icons. Look at this shit. This is it's not even 8-bit. It's 3-bit, 4-bit.
Yeah. Now the technology under Ghidra is really quite cool, but yeah, the UI it needs some work, I think.
Yeah, they just hid it away.
But once we have the MCP server, we don't need any UI at all, right?
Hell yeah, that's the way it goes.
Headless mode, we don't care what it looks like anymore.
But
we just proved it.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I think that's why this is a good demo, because you guys can see how incompetent I am at GIDRA. I didn't even know how to open the fucking file. So, but now watch me reverse engineer. Watch me now.
Watch this now. I'm getting stronger and stronger by the second. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Technology.
Yeah, I think you have to enable it, right?
Yeah, I have to enable it. Yeah.
And retry connection.
Retry. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So to get this to
now
work,
you have to actually turn it on, because now it's off. Well, there's the date, so I think it's fine. Yeah, this is the downside of this MCP architecture, that it goes over STD in and STD out. So as soon as you print something to the screen, it's oh, stream is corrupted, and it doesn't work. It's I don't know what is happening.
Working.
I don't know. You can try to maybe restart VS Code. Maybe that could work.
Sure.
Yeah, this technology it's still a bit jank.
Help, Lori. No, I mean, I don't think she can help because.
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean like the MCP client server stuff, because they really spend a lot of time engineering the protocol, but very little time actually making it work. I mean, yeah. It's.
You can check the logs if it worked. Where are the logs, Laurie?
I guess the Ghidra logs probably, right? In the bottom of the Ghidra window. No.
Go to the initial page, not the code page. Let's, oh, it's working now! Haha!
Yes.
Haha! Ha! Alright, famous house enjoyers. Alright, let's see, we're done here. Okay, so now let's see if we can actually do this. We should probably use the exact same,
Yeah, the exact same prompt.
Yeah.
Just you can copy it here in the. Oh yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
except
so-
in Ghidra, I don't think they're called sub, right? They're called something else.
Right, yes. Of course.
FN underscore, I think, but I'm not sure.
Yes, FN, fun underscore. FUN
Oh
underscore.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, fun.
fun. Yeah, so anyway, what I was going to say is, in order to get this sort of hacked up and working with VS Code, the way that I did it was I copied Laurie's project, and then I initialized like the UV, or MCP initialized, sorry, inside the project to get it set up. And that was all I had to do, really. And then I would just connect it to it. So maybe I'll add that to the README or something. After the
Yeah,
stream.
we can do a pull request.
Yeah. I think that's good. I don't want to change it too much because it is supposed to be like a bake-off, right? I was gonna say we should analyze the C2 protocol, but that would be cheating.
That was cheating.
Okay. All right. I think we're good to go. Oh, it says IDA. Where does it say IDA? In GITHUB.
Ghidra Pro.
Pronounce.
That's the secret version. No, don't do that. It'll get confused.
Okay. All right. We're good? We're good, guys? Everyone? Yeah. Let's go to...
You know, this also might not be still a fair comparison, right? Because there are different tools available, MCP tools. So it's a kind of... The prompt that we wrote was also kind of optimized for the, the tool, the IDA Pro MCP with the list entry points and stuff. So, it still kind of might not be fully fair, let's say, because they're not exactly the same tools available under the hood. So
Duncan coping, worried he's gonna lose. All
nah,
right.
no, I'm not worried.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
I'll be happy
I think...
if...
All right, let's see. It's working! It works!
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay, alright, cool. So if we
And
open...
here you have to approve,
Oh, sorry.
because it's gonna...
Yes, always allow everything on my host. How do I show the function? Of course, look at this layout, guys. How do I show the functions and filter
on the left,
by
it says
vibe?
functions.
Where
It
does
says
say
functions.
function? I don't even see.
Left, all the way on the left, there is the symbol tree in the middle left panel.
Oh, the middle.
This is
yeah.
the upper, yes. And then
functions.
there you have function, and then you can
How do
type
I-
in the filter too,
Oh, okay.
I think. But I don't know if Ghidra handles colons that well. But I think probably it's stuck now that you need to approve a bunch more stuff.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yo, Mishap, what's up? Thanks for the sub. Goes directly to Bezos. You can also go to window up and then click functions. I think we've got it handled here, hopefully. You should make a fork of Ghidra. Yeah, I should fork it and change the name. Also, maybe
Yeah, we
change
can
the font.
vibe code a new UI.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it would probably be pretty cool if you could use those JetBrains UI components. I think they're available for people to use because the JetBrains tools look nice and they're also Java. So.
And they're Java, yeah, exactly, yeah. Everyone wants a new UI. Maybe that should new OALabs stream series. We just vibe code. I don't know anything about Java. I just tell. I prompted it.
I think we should do web technology.
Yeah, I mean, that's the future.
That's
put it in the browser. Put it in Node. It does seem to be analyzing it, but it doesn't seem to be renaming. I don't see any renames.
Yeah. Maybe it's not called rename, but something else. Let me check.
Could I vibe code my way into a job? I think there's some guy who got kicked out of university who's got you covered there, bro. You guys seen that? I don't. What is it called? I don't remember what it's called, but he's got
fuck lead code. It's called, I think.
Unlead code.
No, fuck lead code.
Oh, fuck lead code. Nice.
Yeah, he made like a little overlay, like a cheat overlay, where you would speaking and then would take screenshots and then solve the lead code problem and made it look like you were doing it step by step as well.
I love. Yeah. He had like a feature release I saw on Twitter. He's a funny dude, and he was like, now with like invisible overlay, and I was like, it's just a straight cheat. It's like literally cheat technology, but for fucking interviews. It's so funny.
I also saw someone who already made like an anti-interview cheat thing that you had to then install on your computer, and I would like look for it and everything.
Where's Magic at? We need Magic on the case. Fucking new idea, guys. Anti-cheat for interviews. You heard it here first. 10%.
You know,
I'll you guys 10%.
There's a lot of money at stake, right? So there's money in there in the market.
Yeah. Well, all they need is I think they already have that technology. It's just really shitty for high schools. They have these like test taker things where it like installs a shitty driver that makes you super vulnerable. I only know about this because it's like one of the top uploaded things to UNPACME. It's like, I was like, what the fuck is this thing that people keep uploading? It's like some sort of like high school test taker thing. Yeah.
I know it's renamed actually. Renamed.
But I don't rename successfully.
Oh no,
Maybe
like
it doesn't show.
Yeah, it probably doesn't automate. Yeah. Yeah, because Ghidra is a bit weird also with the undoing and stuff like that when you use the API.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, it puts percent.
Oh, nice.
Look at the. Come on, Ghidra.
No, I think this might be the actual plugin doing it, trying to like escape the data.
What's a namespace? All right, I should probably make it underscore.
I think you should have put underscore, yeah. Yes, because IDA does the same, right? IDA just replaces it all with underscores anyway, so. Yeah, one thing I also noticed.
It's ready for the web. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I also noticed that kind of you want to give it tools to do bulk operations. That I noticed that because now this is like burning money, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's just burning money, renaming one by one, and you know, I also in the IDA MCP plugin I also didn't do this, but it should just be like rename functions where it does in a chunk. Same with commenting on the function, that should just be like a one-time operation, basically.
Something else that like, so when I was doing the C++ one, it had to keep, like I said, I had this thing, the prompt that was basically like, you're not finished until everything is renamed from sub underscore. So it would like go back and go back and go back. And it was like, and I also had a prompt that said like, if you have a name collision, put like an underscore and then iterate like a number so that there's no collision. But because of that, I noticed like immediately, I was like, why am I burning money? It's like, because every time it renames something, it would be like, give me the function list. And it would just be like,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some optimizations that can be done here with some sort of memory or something, you know, or just bulk operations in general. Also, what I was thinking is a lot of these things you could probably write Python tools to do. So like the MCP would send a command, and then you could do a little bit of logic in the Python tool before you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like with name collisions, for example, it could just do that for you and just return the actual name, like collision, renamed it to this or whatever, and then it's. And also, I just wanted to add like this IDA MCP server. It was vibe coded in like 3 hours.
Fuck.
You know, it really can use a lot of work. I came back from a night out with friends and I was like, this MCP, I had it on my list for a while, right? I was like, MCP, it's cool and everything. And then I was like, okay, Lori released one. There was one released for Binja. I was like, okay, this is the opportunity to make one for IDA. But, you know, it's just like, you know, proof of concept. It's super easy to make those MCP servers, basically. If you want to try it, like, it's like something you can set it up in literally 5 minutes. You can get one working. So, yeah, you should try it.
Unless you're trying to do it for x64 debug, in which case you'll never get it working.
No, Nox already has it working.
For
he
real?
sent me like some updates. Yeah, he used this new x64 debug automate Python thing. So the MCP server just uses that package to like start an x64 debug instance, and he already got it to like start a process, and I think single step or something. He just did like proof of concept.
God
but
damn.
Yeah, it's coming.
Jesus.
Like it is super it's like it is super easy basically to give LLMs tools, and that's something that I think that's what people should try, right? You don't have to use this or just whatever your workflow is, just try to encode it in some MCP. Why not?
All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Malware analysis report.
Yeah, and then we have to do a vote. Which one?
Oh
which
yeah,
one
we should.
that's
So
the
afterwards
vote.
we'll do a vote.
But to
we'll
be fair, if it doesn't get the RC4, then we can still ask it about this, right? Because we also did that for the other
we did
one.
ask the other one. Yeah. That is what I'm curious about. I'm curious to see whether it got the name of the software and also the RC4. Main functionality. Main functionality, vibe main, is a simple structure. Oh, it's being a little bit more pedantic here. Terminate security processes 1 and 2. Okay. The malware attempts to enable SU debug privilege, which allows it to debug and manipulate other processes. If successful, it calls 2 functions to terminate security software processes. Okay, alright.
That's also not accurate, right? Ah, no, later it says
no,
then
that's
it loops.
true.
Okay.
That's true, yeah. Privilege escalation. So it looks like it's being a little more descriptive, I guess, in this case. Like about what the code is doing, but I don't think that has much to do with GHydra though. So
it might be because of the way the decompilation looks. Because I think the IDA decompilation either looks more natural or it's just more available online, right? So it kind of is more normal code, whereas Ghidra's decompilation is, you know,
more computer
a bit more
codey.
Yeah.
Yeah. The malware targets 2 sets of security processes. First set, so they didn't figure out. Oh, okay, here you go. So they figured out the Microsoft one, but they didn't add it as a top level here. But they didn't figure out Trend Micro. Alright, that looks good. For each target process, the malware creates a snapshot using... Yeah, so it's being like very pedantic. Again, yeah, probably...
Rewriting the code.
Yeah, it's like, exactly. It's doing like pseudocode style.
Or maybe it did it from disassembly. I'm not actually sure what actually happened.
I think it was
while we were chatting.
Pseudocode. Yeah, it's pseudocode.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is. Okay. Interesting.
It looks for process matching the target names. When it finds a match, it opens the process, gets full path to the process. Yeah, so this is like more reading, like it's just telling you what the code is doing instead of kind of raising it up to explain at a higher level. It's still correct. It's still correct what it's doing.
Yeah, it also figured out the APC thing. So
yes,
yeah,
that's good. File deletion. That's correct. The malware constructs a path using UNC notation and replaces colons with $, which is how Windows represents administrative shares. Okay, this is likely a technique to access and delete files that might otherwise be protected. Okay, I mean, it definitely got that part. Okay, CNC, this is the important part. It creates a unique identifier for the infected machine by collecting system information, username, SID, Windows. So it got that part correct. That's good. Computes an MD5 hash and then converts that. So that's identical, and this was a little bit of a hard part. Constructs a post request in the format of ID and data. That's correct. The data includes information about the OS version. Encrypts the data using RC4 with the machine identifier as the key. Ah, okay. I mean, that's not exactly right. It encrypts the path, but it did figure out that it's RC4.
But the machine identifier was the key, right? That was
Yes,
correct.
that's the hard part. That's the part that's like a little tricky to figure out. It uses a random number generator to select one of several hard-coded IP addresses. Again, didn't figure out that
Random number.
I mean, okay. It sends a post request to a specified URL path by construct URL path. Yeah, so it didn't. It is actually a little bit confused here because the RC4 is only used to encrypt the path, not the data. It tries 11 times to connect to different C2 servers if the initial attempt fails. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, the malware uses RC4 encryption algorithm to encrypt its C2 communication to encrypt data. Okay. And then the rename functions. Oh, it extracted some IOCs for us. All right.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, all right.
Possibly other IPs. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of them figured out that there's 4 IPs, which is kind of annoying.
No, the other one figured out that there was. I know it said just picks one of random percent 4,
randomly
right?
from 4. Like, if you modulate random by 4, what do you get? Yeah. Anyway.
LLMs are not good at math.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. Again, this one is a little bit more of a, at least my read on it is it's a little bit more closer to the code rather than the high level functionality. But I don't see anything that's particularly wrong. It did get the RC4, but it didn't explain what's encrypted. I think it kind of got that wrong actually. But the other one didn't even get the RC4, so.
Yeah, we had to prompt it. We can also still ask it, what was this security product? Because I think we did that, right?
Yes, I will definitely ask that. Actually, we should probably figure out what they called it. What is the security software that is... Is that what we asked it on the other one?
Yeah, so something like that. Yes.
Let's say, what is the name of... Let's see if it's got that. It's probably just going to do the processes, though.
Well, maybe not. It's completely random, right? That's the issue, I guess. It appears to be...
Trend Micro!
Trend Micro. Nice.
Nice. Right on.
Good.
All right. And let's also prompt it with so let's see if we can clean up the security or the RC4. So in the C2 protocol, what specifically is encrypted with RC4? Yeah. Let's see if it does that. Is that because the subsequent IPs aren't shown in the disassembly decompilation? Yeah, the way it works here. Let me just show you there, Rolf. Actually, it's GITHUB, so I don't know how to show you. I could show you an IDA. It's a giant structure that's hard coded. It's a hard coded global. So in the assembly, only the first entry in the structure is referenced. And you have to convert it into a structure. I can't show that to you here. I don't know how to use GIDRA, but maybe I'll show you an IDA in a minute.
Also, imagine handing in the report with vibe : everywhere.
Well, we can have it. We can have it fixed. But you heard it here first, guys. If you guys start pulling down Lumina results from IDA and you see vibe __. You heard it here first.
That was Sergey.
No, it's not me. It's somebody watched the stream.
Don't you? Yeah, right. I mean, I'm actually curious what Hexers will. I guess they already have some kind of quality control, right, for Lumina, or they just take everything.
I don't know, man. I've seen some wild shit in there. I'm not sure what they're doing.
I'll ask. That's actually interesting. Because you probably want to be like, hey, this was AI generated or something.
Yeah, exactly.
At least. Yeah.
Update the report with these new findings.
Yeah. and just say and clean it up or and make it less verbose or something, or like because it was kind of.
More.
I mean, you know better, but I think this was too verbose, right?
Make the report. I don't know how to describe that. I was having a hard time describing it. Less pedantic. I mean, that's the right word.
Make the report feel less written by a junior. Try that.
That's not gonna work.
It might work. We need to tell it that you are a principal researcher, reverse engineer.
You are a
We're joking, but yeah, that's right.
engineer who has a good grasp of malware functionality. You can do this. Abstract code.
I don't know. Just don't do you can. Just don't over-engineer. Just let's see what happens.
You know what? We need Mishap on the. Mishap is a great prompt engineer. Send us your prompts, Mishap.
Do our work, please.
Run this on all OALabs samples and push everything to Lumina. Cerberus just wants the world to burn down. she wants AI
she wants
death.
To before. It's gonna cost you like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands.
Thousands, man. Like I said, it costs so much money just to do that C++ thing. Oh man.
I mean, still put the vibe : in there. That's not a good sign. But you know.
If you can dream it, you can do
OPSEC. It mentioned OPSEC. Oh, that's amazing.
We should add the think it, dream it, do it prompt. All prompts should start with that. All right. Are we? Oh, we're still waiting. Yeah, I don't like how verbose. Like, you don't have to tell me what you did. I don't even care. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's also something you can prompt out.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Amy did actually, from what I saw from the video. But I think the Binary Ninja MCP is not released, so we cannot really use
Amy
it
was
yet.
the dev for the Binger one.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Maybe link her
Amy,
her
yes.
GitHub as well. All right. Let's see here.
I put the tweet in the chat.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
I think that was the very first MCP.
Oh, look at that! They're doing. They're embedding code now. I bet if we gave it the ability to take screenshots, it would put IDA screenshots in there. It was raised on the internet on security blogs, so it would put a fucking screenshot in
Studio
there.
Ghibli styles IDA.
Ghibli IDA, yeah. Okay, so the malware's execution begins at the standard entry point, which invokes C runtime. Well, come on, guys, come on. Why would you talk about that? The main function implements a persistent loop that attempts to obtain SC debug privilege, a powerful capability that allows malware to manipulate processes. Okay. I mean, what's this?
Powerful, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely hyping it up a bit.
It's a senior reverse engineer. Use a standard technique of opening current process token. Yeah, I don't know why you have to include this stuff. Looking at the mood.
Senior reverse engineer with 1 foot in management.
It's a little bit pedantic still. It did clean it up though. Yeah. So
now it's also the trend micro thing and the that's
good. Microsoft security products. Yeah, so it listed them. This is actually cleaned up quite a bit. The termination technique is particularly sophisticated, avoiding direct process termination calls. That's actually true.
I mean,
no, I mean that is what it's doing, though. I mean,
yeah, okay, I'm more about the sophisticated. I guess we can pick about that.
Yeah. Hype, right? but it's kind of curious that you figured this out, right?
No, true, yeah.
I mean.
Well,
that is what it's doing.
Yes.
For each thread, it opens the thread with thread set context access, duplicates the thread handle, queues the user APC with exit process as a callback. That's correct. The APC injection technique is particularly effective as it leverages the target process's own threads to execute the termination code, bypassing many security monitoring solutions. I mean, I'm pretty sure most security monitoring solutions know about set threat context and queue user APC, but yeah. Cool.
Report read like it was written by a red teamer in his junior years.
Yeah. LLMs think that the process of decompiling code is sophisticated. Yeah.
Yeah, just because we make it out to be, right?
Yeah.
If the whole internet was like, we just decompile and it's not
easy.
A big deal, then it would also not make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, exactly. You think you can get away with dropping a polymorphic payload in my sandbox? Think again, noob. What? What is this, the Jonathan Data 1 report? Write the report like you're Jonathan Data 1. That would be kind of funny. Alright, let's go down to the C2 protocol and see if it fixed that. The C2 communication protocol employs several obfuscation techniques, URL path encryption. So it figured all this out now. So that is correct. It does encode or encrypt that with RC4. The encryption result is converted to hexadecimal string and prepended with a specific byte. Okay, so it's prepended with the key. The first 8 bytes of the machine identifier are appended to the encrypted path. No, it's prepended with that actually. But it kind of figured that out. I mean, it's at least it has some idea of what's going on.
Yeah, well, we have
look
to
at me cope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is correct. The data, OS information being collected is major builds. It didn't get so. Funny story. When I was testing this myself, the developers of this malware made a mistake. And they do an encryption where they subtract 1 from the string that they send to the C2, and then at runtime, they add 1, and at runtime to decrypt the string, what you should do is subtract 1, but they made a mistake in the code, and so they add 1 again. So when I was reverse engineering it, there's no way to figure that out unless you just kind of were like, that's obviously retarded, like the string is not right. I
remember the first time it figured this out, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, the first time we ran it, it actually figured that out, and it was like, the developer... No, I didn't say they made a mistake. It just said to decrypt the string properly, you should subtract 1, and it makes this... Yeah. So
and it gave the keys, I think, as well, like the string.
It gave the string, the decrypted string, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. It's figured out the random number. It still can't figure out there's 4 IPs, but at least it got the random number modulated by 4 instead of just random number. So that's good. And then this reads pretty well though. So maybe malware capabilities assessment, like this is probably something you could hand in.
Put MITRE matrix in there and you're like done.
Yeah.
Promote
Yeah,
it.
we should prompt it. Add the MITRE matrix. And bump my salary. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you guys want to vote on this. I mean, no, we can wrap. It's fine. It's alright. I think we've already done enough here. I'm also really hungry.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't want to get angry at the LLM. That would be bad.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So conclusions. What do you think, Duncan?
Conclusions. I think that. Well, we just need scripts, plugins to basically do the stuff like HashDB, resolve those hashes, resolve the encrypted strings. Like that's the kind of stuff you need to do first. And I think once you have that, like once the decompilation looks kind of clean, it can do the renaming of variables. It can do like same. I think once you resolve the hashes, you can just ask, hey, this is hash resolving, just retype all those variables correctly, and it will do that. I mean, I'm sure you can also do it with a plugin, but you could do that kind of stuff like Vibe ask it specific questions, and I think for that it'll work. Like it will work fine. For analyzing whole binaries, you just need to have more metadata for it to be useful, I think. Yeah, on a bunch of raw data, it's not going to do anything. No surprises there, I would say.
Yeah.
What do you think? You said you're a super doomer.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it over?
well, I mean, I think it's like I was talking with Snow about this, I think, last night. Like the main takeaway here is like all of the low-hanging fruit is being picked. So like, I mean, I worked as a professional research engineer forever now. I think probably almost 10 years. And like, it's like any other job. Like sometimes you don't want to work too hard. Maybe you're hungover. So you kind of do some like vibe reversing yourself, right? Where you're just kind of like, okay, today I'm just going to rename functions and whatever and do some stuff. That's all gone, right? So like, I think that's really like that probably within the year, like that stuff is gone for anyone who knows what they're doing. It's going to take a while for this to actually get into production in like big companies, but like for individuals, all of that like relaxing part of reversing, I think is going to be going away pretty quick. And all
No relaxing for you.
Yeah, and all that's left is the hard stuff. I mean, that's really what I think is happening here.
But it's good, right? I mean, that's what we want.
I think it's good.
Very well.
I like this, but I don't work as a professional reverse engineer now, so I work as a professional unpacker, and you definitely need to be able to unpack to do any of this. So yes, I'm obviously very bullish on this. But yeah, I do think that it's like a force multiplier. I kind of was joking in the chat earlier, but I really do think like AI is not a democratizing tool. It's a leveling up tool. So if you're already pretty good, this is just going to make you faster and better. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's bad news
like,
for you, I think.
If you cannot afford this, what did it cost you to stream? Like $20 or whatever, just for the heck of it. Like if you cannot afford this, which a lot of people are in that position, right? Like it's unfair essentially, right?
Oh, I don't even mean like on the economic. I mean that's a whole other fucking discussion. Yeah, but I'm not even like dooming on that side. I'm just saying like if you're not a good reverse engineer and you're working in this industry, all the stuff that you're doing can be done by this now. It's like you have to have like some skills now. I think like that's what it feels like to me, at least. I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before. So I said LLMs aren't going to take your jobs like last year at a fucking keynote. Oh, big whoops.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah. So
but I think Mokru also asked an interesting question, like what would someone train on if they want to get into the industry? I mean, I don't know. I actually misread the question. So basically, I wanted to say that for me locally, I have this thing called Light LLM set up. So like all my actual prompts and all the responses are going through like a proxy server, and all the data is saved on my own like hard drive. So I basically want to save, because I'm trying this stuff, right? And I'm trying to implement my workflow, and I think that data is valuable, so you should collect it, and definitely don't give it away for free.
Yeah,
because there are free models, but they are training on your actual stuff, right? But then maybe to answer the actual question, what would someone train on? Maybe you have a good idea, Sergey. What would you like for learning?
I was thinking about this. One thing that one kind of negative thing here is like the first sample that we tried, the first malware sample that we tried, was actually the malware sample that we used in Patreon for the last couple tutorials to teach you the basics of how to reverse engineer. And one of the problems I can see here is if you don't go through that pain and you just use an LLM for that, you won't learn how it works, and it's going to be really tempting to do that because the easy stuff is easy. And that's one thing where I could just see you probably have to go through the pain because you won't learn those basics any other way, and the LLM can't do the hard stuff yet. And honestly, some of the hard stuff is really hard. I think it's going to be quite a while before it can do. A lot of it is kind of abstract thinking or pattern identification stuff that's just hard to do. We didn't demonstrate this here, but it doesn't work at all on obfuscation and removing that stuff. It's a different brain. It's a different approach entirely to do that, right? So maybe you could use an LLM to remove obfuscation, but you wouldn't be doing it with IDA. You'd be doing it in a different approach. So yeah. Anyway, one thing to watch out for is if you're using the LLM to do easy stuff and you're just starting out, that's probably not a good idea because you're going to need those skills. I mean,
Yeah, just like vibe coding, right?
yes,
If you have 10 years of experience doing software development, yeah, you know, for me it's like whatever. I have an idea about the architecture, what I want to do. I actually, you know, I can see when it's doing something stupid, and I can like kind of course correct it. But if you don't have that experience, it's just over for you. You have to learn how to code, right? That's like the
yeah, that's what I was trying to get at with like the democratization is not really it's not true. What it's doing, it's making the strong stronger. Because the reason why this is so fun and cool, and same with vibe coding too, is like I know what it's supposed to be doing. I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an oopsie. You got to fix that. But if you didn't know, you could be led way astray by this, right? This ransomware has payload decryption and downloading and C2 communication. It's like no, it doesn't have any of that.
Really
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Can Stego beat LLMs? You should try. I think it depends how hard it is. I don't know, like if for anyone watching, like just try this stuff. I know it costs money. There are free models out there also. So Gemini 2.5 Pro, it's like very good, and they're giving it away for free. DeepSeek you can try for free. Claude you can try for free. Basically, you know, it's all trials, right? But you know, you can try this stuff today. You don't need any special stuff. You should just try it. And if you have a question like that Stego thing, just try it. Like maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you can think of some tool that you could write. You just play with it, right? That's like the my main takeaway.
Shout out to us, sub to us on Patreon. But for free, we have that OALabs research blog, and like all those samples that we streamed on for the past like 2.5 years are all like interesting corner cases. Normally the streams are on like interesting reverse engineering corner cases. So if you guys wanted to try some of those, like we have a Stego one, we have obfuscated ones. It's free. Well, it's not free. It's $2 for you to try. So go give it a shot. And also, yeah, shout out for the GitHub for that Laurie has and that Duncan has. Add some tools. I'm really curious to see if you guys add some additional context, like additional tools that provide more context. I think that's the future.